Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Yashodanandana Bhagavana Yashodanandana Bhagavana Yashodanandana Gopi Jana Vallabha Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Yashodanandana Yamuna Tira Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Gaur Thank you, Prabhupada Paramahamsa. Sri Rajagacharya Stotra Satta Sri Srimad Divine Grace. Sarabhaya Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Nam Prakoti Vaishnavavrind Ki On the BT Founder Sharia's Divine Grace Sri Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Samavata Bhaktivinoda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Ravdas Bhagavatam Ki 95 Gold Pimanande all that is to be Samadhi, all that is to be Samadhi, all that is to be Samadhi, all that is to Sri Guru to Sri Gauranga, all that is to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chaksurandritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Vayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jita Palakamanam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Sya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Ragunakanditam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Balan Sahagana Lalita Visakanditam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaskute Satakansana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansakalpa Tarubhyasya Kipa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Seva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is our very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Nara Narayana Rishi, the supremmost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayasabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavikanaistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed or practically the nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, whose praise with transcendental songs becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahmasamhitam Tamasloka Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishraya Sayalokasya Dhanyam Swasyayanam Maha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantaraj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God. This Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Surabhyaya Namaha.
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 Mukam karoti vacharam pangom nangayate girim yatripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum yatripa tamaham bande Sri Gurum. Hare Krishna. Welcome to Bhagavatam class. We continue from Canto number 2, chapter 3, entitled Pure Devotional Service. Oh, I had not noticed. Our text yesterday was before last text, so it's a short chapter with 25 texts, 25 verses. Mm, mm. Okay. So yeah, we'll do that. Text 25. Atha Abhidehi
Abhidehi
Anga
Anga
Mano
Mano
Nukulam
Kulam
Prabhashase
Prabhashase
Bhagavata
Bhagavata
Pradhanaha
Pradhanaha
Yad
Yad
Aha
Aha
Vayasakir
Vayasakir
Atmavidya
Atmavidya
Visharado
Visarado
Nripatim
Tripatim
Sadhu
Sadhu
Kristaha
Kristaha
Athabhidehyangmano nukulam
Atavidiheyam Manonukulam
Prabhashase Bhagavata Pradhanaha
Prabhasate Bhagavata Pradhana
Yat aha Vayasakir Atmavidya
Yada Vaishakye Atmavid
Visharado Nripatim Sadhu Kristaha
Visarado Nripatim Sadhu Krishna
Athabhidehyangmano nukulam
Thavideyam Ramanonukulam
Prabhashase Bhagavata Pradhanaha
Prabhasate Bhagavata Pradhana
Yadhaha Vayasakir Vidya
Yadaha Vaishyake Atmavidya
Visharado Nripatim Sadhu Kristaha
Visaradandripatim Sadhu Krishna
Mathabhidehyanga Manonukulam
Thavideyam Ramanonukulam
Prabhashase Bhagavata Pradhanaha
Prabhasase Bhagavata Pradhana
Yad'aha Vayasakir Atmavidya
Yadaha Vaishyake Atmavidya
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 Visarado Nripatim Sadhu Kristaha
Visarado Nripatim Sadhu Krishna Athabidheyang Manonukulam
Athabhidehyanga Manonukulam
Prabhasase Bhagavata Pradhana
Prabhashase Bhagavata Pradhana
Yadaha Vaishya Sakir Atmavidya
Yataha Vayasakir Atmavidya
Visarado Nripatim Sadhu Krishna
Visharado Nripatim Sadhu Kristaha
Apaya diho anga mano nukulam
Atha videyang gamanonukulam
se bhagavat pradanaha
Prabhasase bhagavata pradhanaha
yodaha vikyasakir atmavidya
Yat
Yada
ahadvaya
vaisya sakir atma vidya
sharado na pratim sadhu prastha
Visaradon ripatim sadhu kritaha
अथाभिदेहि अङ्गमनोनुकूलम्
Atha videhyang gamanonukulam
प्रभाससे भागवत प्रधानः
Prabhasase bhagavata pradhana
यद्याह वैयासकिरात्मविद्या
Yada vaisya sakir atma vidya
विशारदो निपतिं साधु पृष्ठः
Visaradon ripatim sadhu kritaha
Not Telugu. Atha.
Yada
Therefore, Abhidehi,
videhi
please explain.
Please explain
Anga,
Anga
O Sutta Goswami,
Asutta Goswami
Manaha,
Anaha
mine,
Mine
Anukulam,
Anukulam
favorable to our mentality.
Devan Goswami
Prabhasase,
Prabhasase
you do speak.
You do speak
Bhagavata,
Bhagavata
great devotee.
Great devotee
Pradhanaha,
Pradhanaha
the chief.
The chief
Yat aha,
Yataha
what he spoke.
What he spoke
Vayasakihi,
Maya Shakihi
Shukadeva Goswami,
Kadeva Goswami
Atmavidya,
Atma Vidya
transcendental knowledge.
Transcendental knowledge
Isaradaha,
Saradaha
expert.
Expert
Dripatim,
Lipatim
unto the king.
Unto the king
Sadhu,
Sadhu
very good.
Very good
Kristaha,
Kristaha
being asked.
Being
Translation and purport by Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki. O Sutta Goswami, your words are pleasing to our minds. Please therefore explain this to us as it was spoken by the great devotee, Shukadeva Goswami, who is very expert in transcendental knowledge and who spoke to Maharaj Parikshit upon being asked. Kindly repeat after me. O Sutta Goswami,
Oh Sutta Goswami
your words are very pleasing to our minds.
Your words are pleasing to our mind
Please therefore explain this to us
Please therefore explain this to us
as it was spoken
as it was spoken
by the great devotee Shukadeva Goswami,
by the great devotee Kadeva Goswami
who is very expert
who is very expert
in transcendental knowledge
in transcendental knowledge
and who spoke to Maharaj Parikshit
and who spoke to Maharaj Parikshit
upon being asked.
upon being
Asked.
Asked.
Some words are a little tricky. Purport. Knowledge explained by the previous Acharya, like Shukadeva Goswami, and followed by the next, like Sutta Goswami, is always pretty good. Yeah, people have to bring their own share. Knowledge explained by the previous Acharya, like Shukadeva Goswami, and followed by the next, like Sutta Goswami, is always powerful, transcendental knowledge. And it is therefore penetrating and useful to all submissive students. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the second canto, third chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled Pure Devotional Service, the Change of Heart. We should have read that text yesterday, somehow. He did not. So the importance of Guru Parampara is mentioned here. You must receive knowledge from someone who has received knowledge. You must receive knowledge from a bona fide representative of the Parampara. And when we receive such knowledge and repeat such knowledge, convey such knowledge, then it becomes effective. Then it becomes authorized, bona fide. And we all know, but at times it's good to remember and to meditate upon how uh, this Vedic knowledge, which since time immemorial, I mean, it's eternal knowledge, Sanatan Dharma. This knowledge of Atma Vidya, the science of the soul, Atma Gyan, Atma Vidya, has been spoken and transmitted. We have such a rich and very long list of transcendental personalities that the real scientists. mm, Prabhupada translates tattva as science. Atma tattva, it means the science of the soul. Uh, tattva. Um, so even hearing from one such personality is like sufficient for one to actually become self-realized. What to speak of uh, hearing, that is what the whole Bhagavatam, we're hearing from Sutta Goswami, who heard from Shukadeva Goswami while he was speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. And Shukadeva Goswami heard from his father, Srila Vyasadeva, like that. So that means that even now, if we are fortunate to come in contact with this knowledge and take advantage to cultivate this knowledge, then it means that that is what is attractive. We have a whole eternity of such knowledge. Uh, Not only, it's not at all dry knowledge, because it serves as an impetus for us to realize and to understand, and also to be ultimately the what is the word? Um,
It's the fruit of devotional service, ultimately.
yeah, I was trying to find the word, like the proof or the evidence. Yeah, the evidence of realizing this knowledge is acting on that knowledge, isn't it? We have uh, such a profound uh, subject matters. I mean, they're summarized by our acharyas uh, as tattva, like Dasamula tattva. I yeah, when we read such books as Dasamula tattva or the Satsandarbhas of Srila Jiva Goswami, even just these are just two small examples of uh, such literatures. Yeah, then so here Sutta Goswami said to kindly continue speaking, and we will just immediately go and begin the fourth chapter, uh, which is entitled The Process of Creation. Unless someone has some comment or questions on the chapter we're just finishing now. Naturally, the very title of the chapter, which is Essence of Krishna Consciousness, uh, Pure Devotional Service, which is actually the activity of bhakti, is the means by which we attain, isn't it, the ultimate destination, our goal, which is developing um, our love for Krishna. But I think we've all uh, observed or experienced how practically in every single verse Prabhupada gave very elaborate purports, very nicely describing the subject matter. So, yes.
So my question is, you mentioned the title of the next chapter,
Yes.
which is the creation,
Mm.
and which is the process of creation, means more than just creation. So how this chapter of pure devotional service, this explanation of pure devotional service, connecting the next. So what is the plus, the extra? We can just read the process of creation without having this chapter before. Is there any difference if someone really understood this present chapter and then there is a different approach to the process of the creation?
Um, you're asking, like, now in this chapter that we're just finishing, chapter 3, it is dealing with pure devotional service, very, which is totally a transcendental subject matter. And then what is uh, the connection with,
Yeah,
like,
what is the reason why the next chapter is a process of creation,
is
or
bringing us down to
it
material?
looks like a material topic?
Yes.
That before that we were saying that
I think, I'm not sure. I think there is, it may be in this purport. I know that there is a purport which I think can throw light on the question you're asking. Um, there's very good chances it is this chapter because there is, the exchange uh, between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukadeva Goswami, which is what is being referred to here. And Parikshit Maharaj, um, he's going to be asking a question about creation. So one wonders, we're talking about spiritual world, talking about pure devotional service. Why do we have to talk about creation? It's something material. So in this in this context, Prabhupada in the purport, Hare Krishna, duty calls, duty calls. Oh, so Prabhupada asks the same question. He says, here we have a situation. Parikshit Maharaj has been cursed to die in 7 days. And he has that great fortune of meeting a personality like Shukadeva Goswami. He only has 7 days to live. Why is he bothering asking about material creation? Which is essentially the question you're asking. And Prabhupada explains in the purport that for the pure devotee, hearing about any subject matter which is in relation to the Supreme Lord, because it is not anybody's creation, it is Krishna's creation. And to understand or to know about the intricacies of that, although material creation, uh, serves as an impetus to further appreciate how glorious and how powerful and how genius and how scientific is this whole creation. So in in that way, Prabhupada also explains in another place how for a pure devotee everything is spiritual. He sees everything spiritual, even so-called matter. Matter is a material when it is separated and not seen in connection with Krishna, not properly utilized in connection with Krishna. And he makes that statement very clearly, very strongly. For a pure devotee, nothing is material. We can't understand that unless we're on that on that level, because
The sound
we
was
th-
spiritual.
we think spiritual is something that's like so. Um, in all likelihood, this will be touched upon in some of these purports, and this particular purport I'm referring to may well be, in all likelihood, it is in this chapter, because yeah, and I'll make a connection here with a similar type of controversial, or maybe yeah, it is controversial actually. Similar question that sometimes devotees ask, probably quite often, that Mahaprabhu has appeared 500 years ago to introduce the Harinam Sankirtan movement, which is simply based on chanting, hearing and chanting, the nine limbs of bhakti devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, up until Atmani Vedanam. Chant, dance, and be happy. Why bother about Varnashram? Varnashram is something material. Actually, devotees ask this question. And many devotees actually are, I've heard it, I have it on record from some of our leaders that's not important. It's material. Mahaprabhu is focusing on bhakti. We are known as the bhakti movement, bhakti cult, bhakti movement. And in one sense, it is true. Bhakti is totally transcends any material consideration, and one who is fully absorbed in bhakti devotional service, varnashram, material things like varnashram, is very secondary, not important. But the problem is that how many devotees are situated on that level of total detachment, total disconnection with the modes of material nature? How many personalities? Prabhupada would actually give that argument. How many Haridas Thakurs do we have? And even Prabhupada makes the statement that when we read the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri, we know that for the first 24 years of his pastimes as a grihastha, he was mostly here in Navadvip, Mayapur. For 6 years he traveled. In other words, for the remaining 24 years, out of those 24 years, only 6 years he traveled and preached, and the other 18 years he was in Jagannath Puri. And the last 12 years of those 18 years, he didn't see anybody. He was just fully, completely, as nicely described in the Antyalila of the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he was like in another world. He was disconnected with this material world. And the only two persons who could connect and relate with him was, as we know, Swarup Damodar and Ramananda Rai. Now Prabhupada explains that we cannot and we will not imitate Mahaprabhu. We cannot. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead who has come, Namo Mahavadanaya, Krishna Prema Pradayati, to introduce the highest, topmost level which has never been revealed or distributed. I mean, even, we read about how we take it for granted, we speak about Radha and Krishna. But just a few hundred years ago, the concept of Radha and Krishna was not discussed.
Yes, and was sent to jail when some devotee explained this special relationship between Radha and Krishna.
Yeah.
He was sent to the jail.
He
was sent to the jail by a king.
Oh,
It's not. It's forbidden topic for people in general. You are just a rascal.
When was this?
In Jagannath Puri.
In Jagannath Puri. You heard that?
Yeah.
I mean,
from a class.
Recently?
Yeah, a few hundred years ago.
Okay. Well, yeah. It's like the word esoteric. Esoteric means like very high, very confidential subject matters are not meant to be discussed openly. People, it's one of the 10 offenses. Yeah. So, so it means that actually, this was in the first canto. It was describing how, how to appreciate nature, the universal form, Virat Rupa, because for most people are just on this lower level of consciousness. And we know from the writings of our acharyas, beginning from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who speaks quite a bit about Varnasama, how actually Varnasama is that scientific system created by Krishna for the people in the material world, including for the Vaishnavas in their conditioned state. Very direct and powerful statement. Because it's not that the first day you walk in the temple and hold a bead bag that we're pure devotee. We're still, for many years, majority of us, still connected with the modes of material nature. I mean, the understanding of common people in India previously, maybe even now also, is that you know the wheel of samsara, of repeated birth and death, because everyone in India, because it's a culture, they know about reincarnation, so they know that it takes a long time to get out of this mess that we find ourselves here in the material world. Of course, we have been told, our acharyas tell us, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is such an incarnation that if one actually takes his instructions and his process very seriously, within one lifetime one can actually be freed from this. Otherwise, practically unending entanglement in the material world. Yeah. So it's like a benediction, that an opportunity that has not been given. That's how it is presented. What Mahaprabhu is giving us has never been given by any previous incarnation. And it is given only once, just like Krishna appears once in the day of Lord Brahma, which is not, this is very rare. And when Lord Krishna appears, immediately after, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appears. I mean, these are revealed by our acharyas, and this is how we receive knowledge, accept knowledge like that. So yeah, interesting question. So when we see things as it is, that's the only way we can see things or understand things, as explained by such personalities or Vaishnavacharyas. Then we can a little bit begin to understand. Yeah.
How to read and how to study the creation when we want to use it for practical advancement in a daily practice.
How to use the knowledge of the creation
Yeah.
for our
So
practical.
in which case, so what is the mood of when
Well,
is
it's
the
like,
most
we're sitting here, the sun is there, 93 million miles away, and we're getting we can read the Bhagavatam. We get light, we get the heat, the
so
warmth.
when you are heated up by the to the sun, you are meditating when the
No, but
creation?
when the question is asked, then all of us, it's like when I'm very thirsty, we got some hot days recently. We drink water, and we can, as devotees, we can remember Krishna's and the taste of water, and when we're very thirsty, all of us, I'm sure we've been thirsty at some point. More than once. Also, in India, especially, it gets very warm, and you run out of water. Then, when the water finally comes, you appreciate water, and that satisfaction and that taste of the water, that's Krishna. So the pure devotee, whatever experiences, he immediate connection to Krishna. That constant, and we're in Krishna's nature. These the sounds of birds, the musical sounds of birds, are all. It's like some people who are not devotees, um, let's say medical, in the medical field, or scientists, like sometime not not long ago, somebody shared a document about the present day understanding of scientists regarding atom, which is very, very different than it was, let's say, 50 years ago. And it's like they're totally, they have magnifying glasses that can magnify like thousands, so many thousands of times, and they can actually enter. They're on the documentary. They can actually enter the atom and see how it's functioning, and it's totally amazed. It's like a perfect arrangement that it's like a machine. It's material. Atoms are material, but it's like in modern science enables us to make so many wonderful machines. It's like these people, because they have advanced technology, it's like computers now are so small. Before you had like huge big box whatnot. So uh, we get some glimpse of for those who are devotees, we link or connect this amazing creation Krishna, because it's most of us, of course, even as devotees, we don't think so much about creation, but the creation is just a we could say a testimony of I mean, it's unimaginable how this creation is has taken place, or how it is maintained. Somebody was asking me a few days back, how can we understand that there are 33, I was mentioning, I think the other day, 33 core demigods? Well, it's like, if you have a big company, you're going to have many people working for you. Krishna has the biggest company, biggest organization. I mean, he's maintaining not only this planet, he's maintaining millions or billions of planets within this one universe. And there's unlimited universes. It's like, it's just inconceivable for us, but for Krishna, it's nothing because he's Krishna. Yeah. So, um, it's especially good and important for us as devotees to know something about the creation, especially to explain to those who don't believe in God. Uh, it's like Prabhupada quotes, what is it? One of the scientists, Newton, I think. Prabhupada was telling that he had at one point, maybe at the end of his life, mentioned that um, I'm amazed. Einstein, maybe a person like that. Yeah, that I remain amazed as how this, creation, even in other words, the greatest of scientists are totally uh, unable to really understand, and someone who's a little pious will glorify or will understand how immensely uh, uh, extraordinary is the workings of human nature.
So then, when I have in daily life, I have some material feelings or understanding, desire. Then if I am really learning, then I connect that material feeling, desire, immediate to the science of creation, and then it's become connected to Krishna's process, so that's become incidental.
Yes,
It's hard to make it come back to the focus of, everything is Krishna. So then,
yes,
yeah,
yeah. Even sex life.
yeah.
Sex life,
And I have a desire for sex life. I connected to the
yeah.
creation. And then,
I mean, it is, Prabhupada quotes Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, I think the first canto, one purport, um, referring to him as having quite elaborately described what he calls sex psychology. Because everyone is enamored by sex life in the material world. Why? Because it's a perverted reflection of the original attraction. Sex attraction is there. Material sex attraction. Madonna, Cupid. I mean, Prabhupada and our acharyas, they're quite open and liberal in discussing about sex life because they have the full understanding of, material sex life, material feelings, material attractions are reflections of the original thing, where everything is totally pure and centered on serving and pleasing Krishna. Whereas what we know as sex life in the material world is of a different nature. Yeah.
it's a kind of safe way to deal with these material desires. So Maybe I try to control them, I cannot. If I cannot control them, then I commit.
Yes.
At least to the creation.
We can get a nice understanding, or like Prabhupada and our acharyas, we speak about rasa. The success is connected with rasa. And how there is material rasa and spiritual rasa. So if we are not knowing about spiritual rasa, about spiritual subject matters, about spirituality in general, and in particular about Krishna, then we will totally will be forced by nature to be engaged in material rasa. And that's why the majority of people are totally caught up in sex life, in gross sex life, or subtle sex life. Sex life comes in all these different dimensions because they are devoid of the actual knowledge and understanding that is the source, the original pure source of. It's like the mind, thinking, feeling, and willing. That is there for the spirit soul. The spirit soul has thoughts, thinks, feels also, and desires. But it's all on the spiritual transcendental platform, which cannot be understood unless one gradually purifies one's consciousness. So yeah, the more we are therefore exposed to, the more we uh, make the connection with what is in Bhagavatam and other Vedic literatures, then we can more easily adjust to our situation. So it looks like we're going to start our create. Okay, tomorrow. Yes.
On the purport that the Prabhupada mentioned Guru Parampara and also being submissive
And being
to the.
submissive.
So my question is why it is important to be submissive or
Why is it important to be submissive? Uh, most people don't like to be submissive. Why should I listen to you?
Yes.
Who are you?
Controlling the creativity. I'm supposed to be creative.
Pranipat. Pranipat is meaning is to be submissive. Uh, so submissive is one cannot stand or practice surrender without being submissive. Submissive means basically understanding our original nature of being subordinate, of being amsha. It's one of the important tattvas, one of the 10 tattvas that Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in his Dasamula Tattva. Living entity has 4 tattvas. The first one is amsha, part and parcel. Being part and parcel means we are very small, insignificant, and therefore um, our disease is that we don't understand that, and therefore we don't like to be or don't want to be uh, submissive. Yeah. What's the opposite of submissive?
not being submissive?
uh, it means to be the controller,
Controller.
to be the master. There's master and then servant. A servant, if a servant falsely thinks that he's a master, whatever the master tells, because he falsely thinks he knows better or he's independent. Submissiveness is intimately connected with dependency. We are, most people they think they're independent. Nobody is independent. Any moment, it's like this a false mayas is very wonderful. Makes people think they're independent. Are you independent to stop breathing? I mean, some yogis may stop breathing temporarily, even for a long time. But are we independent not to become sick? Are we independent not to grow? Are we independent that we can refuse to die? We're not independent. Every single moment we are coming back to these 33 core demigods. We're being controlled very, very rigidly by all of these different, personalities whom we don't know. When Arjuna was going up, I, I found that very fascinating. Some years back, I was reading some section of the Mahabharata. Mahabharata is very, very fascinating. Um, when Arjuna, I think it's when they're in exile. Um, at one point, Arjuna uh, goes to see his father, Indra. So he goes to one place in the Himalayas. There's a place where one can actually go up to the heavenly planets. And Indra sends his chariot and his driver. And so Arjuna uh, steps on the chariot, and they start, like an airplane. We start going up. So, I mean, from our planet Earth, to Indraloka is quite far. So it takes a while, and as they go through the sky, then it's like a movie, right? It's a whole display. We can just imagine. I mean, so he sees all of these different other stars and this and that. At one point, they get close to the Saptarishis. You can see the seven stars. What do you call the Big Dipper and the Small Dipper? And then the chariot driver, I forget his name now. Uh, he tells Arjuna at one point, "What you people on Earth think are stars are not stars; they're rishis." So it's like a small ant. What does an ant know about New York City here? What, for that matter, what does an ant know about any of us? An ant has got limited place to walk and limited understanding. You know, if we were to have a conversation, and an ant lives for only a very short time. 100 years for an ant, for an ant, 100 years is like Lord Brahma for us, kind of. So being submissive is a prerequisite to uh, is acknowledging our very small subordinate dependent position. Yeah. And it is the first uh, quality needed for one to actually understand about tattva. That vidi pranipatena. Pari prashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. So pranipat means submissiveness. Means develop that. Very central to
scientific process now.
huh?
There is a scientific process being submissive and
Yes.
reciprocation accordingly.
Like if you're my boss and I'm your servant, and if I develop the mood of being the boss, things are not going to work well. Two bosses, two egos ultimately. So we clash. It's like magnet, positive, negative. They come together. Positive, positive. They, you don't like the idea of being submissive. Actually, none of us like the idea of being submissive because for such a long time, it's like deeply rooted in Ahankar.
Yeah. I meant to say, well, we are part and parcel of Krishna. We should be submissive to Krishna or submissive to other living entities.
I'll be submissive to Krishna, but why I should be submissive to anybody else?
Everything related with Krishna, that's how we can analyze. Whatever is related with Krishna.
Prabhupada gives example. Um, if you love me, love my dog. Means it's like Krishna explains this also in the Bhagavad Gita. I mean, not about the dog, but he mentions that if you want to really be considered as my devotee, you have to become servant of my devotee. If you claim yourself to be my servant and you're not serving my devotees, you're not my servant. Das and the das and the das and the das. The residents of Vrindavan, they just want to help others who are serving, you know. Yeah. So yeah, that's the big test. That yeah, I love Krishna, but it's it's not easy also to be serving other people or other. I mean, even serving other devotees. That's a whole principle and concept actually of guru-disciple relationship. You know? Because
With
guru
disciples and servants, we have some liking and disliking. That is the main problem.
liking and disliking will always be there, but you have to get along.
Cooperate with all the servants.
Okay, we can close for now. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Niki. Jai Srimad Prabhupada Niki. Gaur Premanandi. Oh, yeah.